What's up, y'all? This is part 3 of our story. So to just do a recap on what we have talked about previously, my uncle passed away November 9th, 2022. Then my grandma passed December 6th, 2022. 2 deaths back to back. Almost killed us. I have been staying with my grandmother my whole entire life. My sister, my niece, my mom, and my brother were already living with my uncle. I stayed there all the way until September 2023. I stayed in my grandma's house to September 2023. And then I went into a very, very deep depression. And I came over to my mom's house, well, my uncle's house, which is still my mom's house, all of our house now. And I came over there because I was in a depression. And I was deep in it. I was better off being there with my mom, sister, and brother, so they can help me with the kids and also help me get through my grieving, because at that time I didn't even know I was grieving almost a whole year later. In the midst of me being there with my mom, sister, and brother, my grandfather was still at the house where him and my grandmother resided. And in November, that's when our things began to start being packed up. Not by my grandfather. Anyway, so I didn't know that God had me moving over here in the midst of me being sick. I didn't know that he was preparing me to move over here and be here permanently, which is perfectly fine. So also on part 2, we talked about us having my uncle's house and how it sounded like it should have been a blessing, but it's a burden because my uncle had so much debt with this home. And before he passed away, he was a very, very private person, but he was always an organized person. So we honestly thought that he had all his ducks in a row. We had no idea that he had took another mortgage out on his house. His house had been paid off years ago, and now this debt has fallen on us, and mainly my mother, because now they are putting everything in her name. And we don't understand how, because that's not his wife, that's not his child, that's his sister. But somehow they believe that my mother is his daughter. I don't understand that. So my mom was paying the mortgage once she found out after my uncle passed away that he had a mortgage on the house. She found out that he was paying it, and she started paying it. But at that time, by the time she started paying on it, it was time for it to be paid in full. So they
signed a promissory
yes
note. So they wanted the lump sum
in full
by a certain date. So they wouldn't even take payments or anything.
Don't know more. And it was like $6,000 that was owed up front, right?
Right. And my mama had paid over $7,000 up until this point. And then so it was just like $6,000. That the balloon payment was $6,000.
And they wanted that by what?
That was August 2023.
Okay. And now they doubled it.
Yeah.
So it's a very terrifying situation being in a situation like this, because you never know what the outcome gonna be the next day. We know what the outcome gonna be because we trust God, but at the same time, not knowing if somebody gonna knock on the door and tell us to get up out of here because the house is not ours. So we just basically want to try to find some resources on how do we navigate out of this situation, because we don't know what to do. We've never been in this situation. How do you deal with a deceased person home when they're not here to even tell you how to deal with it?
Right.
He has a son. His son is incarcerated. He's totally cool with my mama, taking over the house. But what do we do about all of this debt that my uncle was in?
Right.
All the loan after loan after loan he was in. Yeah, it sounds good for us to just pack up all our things and I go get me a home with my kids. Derry go get her a home with her and my TT baby. My mama go get a house. My brother go get a home. But it's not that easy. And I want somebody on here to comment and let me know if it's that easy. Because it's not. We trust that God is our resource and God is our provider. But it's not as easy as it sounds. So we want to know how to navigate throughout this, and we want to know from a legal standpoint, like, what in the world do we do next not to lose this house, because we don't want to lose his home. Like my sister said in the last video, my uncle kept saying, if anything happens to me, this y'all house. He wanted to have a home where his family could come to if something happened, and something happened, and we had to come.
Right.
But how in the world do we navigate throughout this when we don't even know what to do next.
And we also want to know if it's others out there that's experiencing what we're going through. How are you handling it? What are you doing bad? Because with us, we are totally dependent on God. People have laughed at us when we told them what God is going to do for us in this situation. We know that this seems to be impossible in the natural eye, but in the spiritual eye, God can turn the impossible possible. And God have given me a gift that I have never in my life thought that I would receive. And on top of it, I'm in a very, very uncomfortable state. I'm not the one to do the talking. And when I say God has pulled me from the back all the way to the front and making me do things that I said that I would never do, is it uncomfortable? Yes. But I'm ready for what he's getting ready to do next. I'm ready to tell my story. I'm ready to help people. But also during this time, my mama was praying, and she was praying hard. Then she began to speak in tongues. Like, I have a special ear, especially when it comes to prayer. So, and I can interpret prayer very, very well. My ears inclined. So she began to speak in tongues. But as she spoke in tongues, I heard everything that she said. It like blew my mind. And what's crazy, I immediately got up and I wrote it down. So as she continued to pray, then I was like, Mom, God was telling us that he gonna sign. You're gonna get the deed in your name, like he's going to sign it. Then he told me that the people was getting ready to come. And I'm like, what you mean the people? He was like, the people is getting ready to come. So yes, we asking for resources, but God gave me step by step what to do. And with him giving me step by step, we just need to find those resources that's going to help us. You can't come to us just because we depending on faith thinking that you can manipulate us and try to get the home and stuff, because this house is covered. We walked around this house, so it's protected by the blood. So anybody that try to come check and scheme, it's not gonna happen. But God also let us know that people is gonna come and help us. And my mom confirmed it, because she said she walked to the door the other day and she just felt the presence of people coming to help us. So no, we don't have a backup plan with our credit and or money's lump sum of money saved up to run and get our own house. We are totally dependent on God. We are moving with our faith and only faith. That's it. And people be like, yeah, like that ain't gonna happen, and laugh at us when we say this, but I'm telling you, what God is gonna do is going to be so amazing and mind-blowing. And we're not doing this just to, make people
have a pity party.
Yeah, have a pity party. It's real life. It's like truly what we're going through right now, and we just want God to get the glory, because what he finna do is not just gonna help us. It's finna help so many other people
to believe God.
Yes, and what he can and what he will do. So that's how we're standing strong. That's how we're continuing to push and push each day. And the people that he is molding the 7 warriors into, man, we are warriors, but warriors been through the worst. And I know
we had to come and be back in one house together for us to force.
Yes, right, he forced us on one accord. We have tried together. Yeah, we have tried so many times on our own to get on one accord. No, we're not the perfect family. Do we get into it? Heck yeah. Do we be ready to tear each other head off? Heck yeah. But God, and when he put us on one accord, everything just gel together, come together. But he had to break down so we can break through. Yes, right. And for him to come through. So we just wanted to just give y'all a snippet of what's getting ready to happen and what God is doing right now and what we are feeling. So and
then not even knowing that God was gonna make us sit up and tell our story, because we so private. And that's what make people think we got it all together. That's what make people feel like, they think they better than everybody. No, we just know that it's better to go pray on it than talk about it. Because while I'm praying on it, God is fixing it. But while I'm talking about it, that's letting the enemy mess up my mind or create more of a confusion around me, when I know that God is the source of everything. Yeah. So that's what it is. Oh my God.
My babies, how y'all feeling? How you feel, Shaya?
Well, we gonna let the kids talk on part 4. Okay. Y'all stay tuned. I'm finna upload it now.